Yeah.
Okay, so first, let us pray, brother, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for blessing us to be able to come into your presence another day today, Father God. Father God, I ask that you open the hearts, minds, and spirits of everyone in this house, Lord God, to receive your message. I ask that you use me as a vessel in your kingdom so that I may reveal your message in the way that they need to understand it. Father, I ask that you add to their faith and knowledge. In your mighty name we pray right now. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so the topic I'm going to be talking about today is a time within a season. Pastor just kind of talked about some stuff I'm not going to talk about.
A time
within a season.
A time within a season. Wow.
Okay, so everybody knows that there is a seed, a time, and a harvest. But today we're going to focus on the time.
Wow.
We know how to plant a seed. We know what a seed is. We know how to recognize a seed as we've been taught over the time. And of course, everybody loves what a harvest is when you get blessed, when you receive something after you planted that seed. But what do you actually do within that expected time? Especially if it's something that you get more than what you expect of it. So now today we're going to actually learn how to honor time. First, I want to take you to 1 Peter 5 and 6. And let me know when everybody's there. Everybody there? All right, and it reads, "So humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and at the right time he will lift you up in honor." Now it says, so humble yourselves, meaning submitting ourselves unto God, or who God has put over us. And after you've sacrificed everything that you can sacrifice out of that submission, then it is all at that right point in time, a specific time. Meaning it can't be your time. It can't be the pastor's time. It can't be anybody else's time around you. It has to be at God's time. That's when he will honor you. God has ownership over our time. Not just us, not just anyone that we may know, but at the end of the day, he has our time. And of course, he will lift you up within that season for honor. So now I actually want to show you a picture. Now I want somebody to tell me what this is in this picture. Michelle, both pictures on. Mr. White, you cannot answer because, of course, she printed them out and I had to tell you what it was. So, can you tell me what that is?
No, what is it?
Okay. Yeah, it's the same picture. It's just like different. It was like what? You got it already? The cousin of a zebra. But okay. So y'all know the exact name of it. Yes, some people said a zebra, but it's not just a zebra. It is two animals mixed. So as you can see, I just want y'all to remember that y'all cannot recognize that. Now, do you know why you couldn't recognize it? You haven't seen it, okay. You know the reason why you wouldn't be able to recognize something like this? Huh? True. So I mean, pretty much, is the main reasons is because y'all haven't either seen it or heard of it before, correct? Okay. So after I showed you that picture, now does anybody know what a season is? What is a season? No, I mean like your version. What is a season? Y'all go through seasons, don't y'all? So now everybody's stuck. Huh? That's true. Yes, a change time of year. Okay. Time and season is actually two different things. So I'm going to break it down to y'all. This is what God gave me, okay? So, I mean, let me look at this. I can't really. Season. What do you see in season? What do you see in season?
Sun.
Okay. What's that? Okay. Yes. So, see a sun. What is sun? Of course, that we know of. The word. Correct.
Mhm.
Word. Now, also, SE also means without or apart. If you look it up, SE. Okay, so if you put it with sun, what do you get? It can be, or it can also be two ways to go into a season. It
Wow.
can be a time without word or a time with word. To
Wow.
see a word. But you get this specific.
Wow.
Good job, good job. Okay, so a season, a time. We're gonna start with to see a sun, to see a word. That is being able to recognize a word going into a season, and then of course, say a sun without a word. That's not being able to go in and recognize a word within your season. And then what is time? I know what time is. Other than, of course, minutes, days, months. What do you guys think time is? It's not a breakdown. It's just. I know, yeah. Y'all probably thinking like, what she would say. Time. Time is a point in your life. Point in life. Because we have every second, every minute, but that past 5 minutes, that was a point in time in your life, correct? Okay then. Now, how many points do you give to God? Do you realize that every point you give to God, by default, if you don't give it to Him, it automatically goes to the enemy? Now, does everybody know what basketball is? Everybody knows the concept of basketball. I know what a point guard is, correct? I just don't want to confuse them. You don't know what? This is Stacy, really? This is my best analogy because I play basketball and I know what a point guard is. So I'm going to try to use it anyway, just still to get you to understand. But the point guard is the person that brings the ball down the court. And they pretty much make sure that all the plays happen. So in a sport, when you play basketball, you have a point guard. When you don't score a point, of course, obviously, when the other team gets the ball, and you don't have a defense, because, of course, defense is the word. If you don't have a word, then the enemy automatically gets a point. So that's another point in your life, because there's a lot of times when we'll say, well, this time, or there's different parts and different sections of time. And there'll be something that happens in your life, and the first thing you go to is something negative, if it's bad. And the first thing you go to is something positive, if it's good. But do you ever really realize that some of those negative ones can be turned into something positive? Wow. So I want to take you to Ecclesiastes 3:1-8.
Okay. Okay.
3:1-8. Are you there? And it reads, for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear down, a time to build up, a time to cry, a time to laugh, a a time to grieve, a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, and a time to turn away, a time to search, a time to quiet searching, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to mend, a time to be quiet, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time to war, and a time to peace. So with that being said, as you can see, time is not just a privilege to us, it's a right. Our time can easily be shortened by the things that we do throughout the day. So here it's showing that time is attached to the different things that we may see. Now you can look at being born as just being born out of your mother's womb, or you can look at it and actually see that yourself birthing someone else, or yourself birthing someone in ministry, or yourself being birthed in ministry during the season. Or you can see planting as just being planting a seed, planting like regular people see planting. Or you can see yourself sowing into someone else and it growing. Or any of these, you can actually you can change the situation at what it actually is. It may say, yes, you're dying or you're killing, but can you change that with a word within that season? So are you seeing it as most people would see a regular seed, or are you actually changing it with a word? There are multiple trees, and yes, there are a lot of people that still worry about the things that they aren't able to see, but yet they're still worried about themselves. So when you go out and you're actually going to try to minister to somebody, are you worried about plucking about people that you're trying to pluck out of your own life, or are you worried about pushing other people into your life through ministry? So how many of you believe that your time belongs to you? Nobody, which is true. And to prove that, I want to go to Ephesians 6:1-3.
What is it?
Ephesians 6:1-3. Of 6:1-3. And it reads, children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord. For this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on earth. Of course, we all know that the opposite of a long life is a short one. So just like you tell your kids, if something were to go wrong, that you're going to chastise them, it's the same way God operates as well. If he tells you to do something, or he uses somebody to tell you to do something, if you decide to neglect what he has said, obviously your time is what your punishment is, because it will eventually shorten your life. So how many of us actually get upset when we waste our own time? Do you ever realize that you waste your own time? I didn't expect that answer. And do you believe that you can wait? Yeah, that you actually can waste your own time. So I actually want to go to Ephesians 5:16-7. Should be on the same page. It says, make the most of your opportunity in these evil days. Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. To waste time is to spend it on things that have little or no value. So why are we wasting valuable points? Why are we surprised when something goes wrong within our time? God just said here that our time is evil. Days are our time. So there's already going to be evil regardless. So we should expect the worst to happen, even if it doesn't. But we always have to also see the word that is attached to what is behind that evil thing that may be happening in that time. There can be wasted time that you can get, and there can be, and that you have, and you're upset because you wish that you could have done something different, but the word you have and the word that you speak in the midst of that time will never go away. As Matthew 24:35 says, heaven and earth will pass away, but your word, when his word will never pass away. So there can be a bill, there can be anything that's in your life that you're maybe struggling with. But at the end of the day, the word is what surpasses it. It'll go away eventually, but the word will stay there with you and will keep you at peace. And also, now if you are quiet in this time, because we're talking about seasons, there's also damage to that. If you keep quiet in time, then you will not only destroy yourself, but you will also destroy those connected to you. When God promotes you in a season, that doesn't mean that you've made it. It means that you have a greater responsibility.
Wow.
To prove that,
Whoa. Go back and say that one more time and say it slow.
If you keep quiet in time, then it will not only destroy you, but it will also destroy those connected to you.
Okay?
When God promotes you in a
Now,
season,
that's what I'm talking about. Right there.
when God promotes you in a season, that does not mean you have made it. It means that
Say it one more time. That's powerful. That's a powerful statement. And some people hate. I was just talking about that. The blessing. I was just talking about that. When God bless you or promote you, what?
Does not mean you have made it.
Whoa. When God blesses you, when God begins to reign on your life, you ain't made it. If people, when God starts blessing their life, that's when they start, oh yeah, I got this now. Almost like putting God on a shelf. I gotta stop right here because that's a powerful statement. Almost like putting God on a shelf. I got this thing there, I'm good. Go ahead, what did you say?
It means you have a greater responsibility.
It means you got a greater responsibility. You've been faithful over a little, so I make you ruler over much. The only reason why God blessed you, the only reason why God gave it to you, because He want to give you greater responsibility. And everybody flunked the test. Because that thing is about them. Powerful. Go ahead.
And I want to take you to Esther 4:14. I really don't want to read this whole, because you have to read like all the different chapters in Esther in order to get this one point. But I'm just going to paraphrase what has happened up to this point. So, of course, this is when Esther after she met Mordecai. Mordecai is her cousin, who she adopted after their uncle died. And she ended up, after a while, somehow becoming queen in a king's palace. And Mordecai, of course, and their Jewish family continued to stay outside the palace. Now, when she got her pretty much being honored as queen, once she became honored as queen, she kind of got a little like, not too, oh my gosh, I'm better than you, but she tried to distance herself from Mordecai and the rest of the family from where she was then. So eventually Mordecai needed her help because he found out that there was somebody in the palace that was trying to kill all of their family. And she went to the palace and kept talking back and forth with one of her officials that come down and that she sends back and forth to him. So she never really directly talked to him. So he started sending requests for her to go to the king directly and ask him, to help them out before the official ended up killing him. And 4:14 says, this is Mordecai speaking to Esther. This is the last message that he ended up telling her before stuff started going on. It says, if you keep quiet at a time like this, deliverance and relief for the Jews will arise from some other place, but you and your relatives will die. Who knows if perhaps you were made queen just for this time. So her being queen was supposed to help them get out of where they were. But she tried to use it just for her own sake. Wow. And her using it for her own sake was going to kill not just her, but everybody else around her. And they were still going to be saved regardless.
Say it one more time.
I'm just not in my notes. I'm just going.
What she said, man, that's a powerful statement. She said the reason she got the queen wasn't for her. It was for the people around her. See, God will promote you just for other folks to be a benefit for. We miss it every time. We miss it every time. Right?
And then after that happened, I guess she got a little scared because she ended up having a banquet with one of the officials, and she told him that she wanted him to come or whatever. But the other guy that was trying to pretty much kill Mordecai just ended up planning something even worse. So if she would have held out even longer, because she said that she has 30 days until she can actually come and speak to the king. Nobody's ever able to just speak to the king uninvited. So if she would have waited that 30 days, they would have died. But she didn't, because Mordecai kept coming to her, kept insisting, and kept saying stuff to push her to make sure she actually did what she needed to do in order to get them out. So there's a lot of people that are in your life that will come and try to push you into where you're actually supposed to go. If you can continue to neglect what they're actually telling you,
Wow.
then that will not just destroy you, but it'll destroy your kingdom around you.
Wow.
So the longer you hold out, the worse the things will get around you and others.
Wow.
Now I want to go to John 1:14. Just let me know when you're there.
Okay.
It says, so the Word became human and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness, and we have seen his glory, the glory of the Father's one and only Son. The glory you receive in this season can only come from the Word. This is how you bring glory from heaven into the earth in any situation that you have.
Wow.
So we have to stop seeing people, places, and situations as just an enemy. What word do you see? Or what word can you make it? Because God can change that illusion with the truth. He can clear up blurred vision, but it's your will, not his.
Wow.
You have a choice. You can either see a sun or be without a sun. Just remember, your sun today can be your right time tomorrow.
Wow.
You have the right to show up to practice daily, which is the analogy I use with basketball. Or you can just not show up. If you don't show up to practice, what happens? You can't win a game. So if you have the right to show up daily, because it's not just a one-man team. It's your whole team, and they're waiting for you to call the plays so they know where they have to go. And that is what I'm doing.
All right, man, wow, that's good. All right, we're right on. I need 5 minutes. I'm gonna do it in 5 minutes. All right, I'm gonna do it in 5 minutes. I promise. School time for the kids. So somebody put me on the clock. All right, I want to start off with what she said, because you can't miss the stuff that she talked about. She said that you are not a one-man team. It's not just Minister Watts. It's not just Sister Wendy. It ain't just Sister Alicia. Whenever you think it's about you, you just missed it. Man, y'all gotta grab this stuff. I need Sister Wendy. I need you, Brother James. I need Brother James. Because you better believe it's gonna come a time in your life when you're gonna need. There you go. So whenever you get in your mind, it's about me. It's about my family. It's about my kids. I got to do this. You just missed it. It's a trick of the devil. Trick of the devil. Then here's the deal. As soon as Sister Johnson needs some, Sister Johnson gonna pick up the phone and gonna call somebody. But she always been tending to just Kenya and Caleb. And then when nobody don't help Sister Johnson, now Sister Johnson is, somebody fill in the blank, offended. Don't get offended when you need help and ain't nobody helping you because you going to yourself. One-man team. I don't care how good LeBron James is. How many championships did he win in Cleveland? Okay, how good Kobe Bryant is. How many championships did he win by himself? So how you think you can do what you do by yourself? The devil just got people's mind all twisted up and they buy into it. Time. Let me hear you. Time. She said seed time harvest. I put in there time, I drew a line, and I put endurance. See, sometimes God will keep you in that season of time to endure you. 2 Timothy 2 and 3. He said, endure like a what? Like a good soldier. Matter of fact, it said, endure hardship like a good soldier.
time. Some of y'all probably in that place because God trying to teach you endurance. All right? Then she get an illustration about the season and stuff that she put without word. Right? Let's just put it there without word. And I drew a circle and I put the 4 seasons of life. Winter, spring, summer, fall. You know what I'm talking about? I went around the circle. And I said, wow. I said, maybe some people is stuck in the winter part of life because they don't have no word. You mad now because folks is in the spring or they in the summertime and Minister Watts wearing shorts and a tank top and flip-flop, and you mad because you got on a long sleeve shirt, a sweater, and a coat and boots. You gotta stay with me. I'm talking about different seasons. Minister Watts could be in summer, Sister Wendy could be in spring, Minister Kiana could be in fall, and Sister Johnson could be in whatever the other one is. And Sister Johnson over here in the winter, and she mad. There she goes. She want to show off her body. But you mad because you in the winter season of your life. Maybe you ain't went to the other part of your life because you ain't got no word. Do you know how many folks is stuck in a season of life because they lack word and then hate on other people? Like they got the problem? No. You ain't got no word. So God can't take you to the summertime. The folks that's in the summer part of life, they got on their shorts and their tank top, they didn't went through all the other seasons of the wintertime. And they spoke word to it, and God brought them out. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. That's powerful stuff. All right? All right, let me a few more, and I'm going to stop. All right? I wrote something down. And I wrote down the word time management. I wrote down time management. It's 24 hours in a day. How much of 24 hours do you get God? Don't just think about it. 24 hours a day. Because he was talking about time. 24 hours a day. How much time do you get God? No, I ain't talking about just, all right, God, yeah, I bless my food. Or I said, no. How much time do you get God? Most people would sleep 6 hours. Should. Average. 4 to 6. So if let's say you sleep 6 hours. You go to bed if you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 4, that's 6 hours. So most people sleep more than 6 hours. But I'm just going to give you 6. All right? So if you sleep 6 hours out of 24, that leaves you with 18. Right? Am I right? That most people work between 8 and 10 hours. All right? All right? So let's say 10, so you're left with 8 hours. Right? All right? Most people eat a couple of hours a day. So out of the 8 hours, let's take away 2, because you can probably eat breakfast, you probably eat lunch, you probably eat dinner. So let's say 2 hours. So then you're left with 6 hours. Everybody see that? Most folks on the phone for about an hour or 2 a day. Now you're down about 4 hours. Then the other 4 hours, you probably spend an hour with your kids, hour doing this, so you're probably down about 2.5 hours. Where's the time with God? Yes, ma'am.
So what if the time we on the phone we speak the ministry of word to somebody, and the time we sleeping we receiving the word from God?
I've no one heard that one part. Because you ain't getting that from God to no vision. So you might, some people can. All right. Most people ain't. Because God will wake most of y'all up and y'all turn them over. And you're going back to sleep. My point is, how much time are you spending with God? But we expect God to use us. If God was to send somebody to you, Sister Tara, what can God pull out of you? What can he pull out if you ain't putting nothing in? That's why half of us won't minister to nobody. Because we ain't putting nothing in. Time management. If you even spend an hour with God a day, that's only 0.04. What are you doing with your time? Because she said seed time and harvest. And she talked about the time, some of the timepiece. What do you do with your time? What do you do with your time? The house of God. When I was coming up in ministry in Germany, I was a young deacon. And Keanu probably tested this. I stayed at the church. At that time, I had all my kids with me. I stayed at the church. Cleaning, making sure there was order, making sure it was organized, making sure this was that, making sure it was this. Why? So the man of God wouldn't have to do it. What do you do with your time? We're so consumed with our life and our kids and our issues. Because the Bible says, whatever you do, do it unto the Lord. So when you're doing something, you're doing it unto God. You ain't doing it unto me. You ain't doing it unto prophet. You ain't doing it up to a minister. You're doing it unto God. What do you do with your time? So we don't spend time with God, but as soon as we need something from him, we expect him to just answer. Prime example. I can't say what I want to say because kids are here. Prime example. A husband and wife, or girlfriend and boyfriend. I'm going to stop right here. Your husband ain't said nothing to you, ain't got in the bed with you. I can't say boyfriend because you shouldn't be doing with your boyfriend, but your husband. Your husband ain't said nothing to you, ain't talked to you, ain't held your hand, ain't told you he loved you, ain't told you nothing. For 6 days. I thought for a week. And then he come get in the bed with you, say he wants something. What you gonna do? What are you talking about? What? You ain't said that to me all week. And you won't. Same thing God's saying. You ain't said nothing to me all week. Some of us can say months. God said, okay, now you want me to talk to you. What happened when I tried to wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you just rolled over and went to sleep? Time management. What are you doing with your time? What you doing with it? Stand to your feet. You're 10 minutes over. I do want to say one thing before I let everybody go. Friday night,